Well, I'm back today because I have something to say. um, we are now in Aries season, and spring is here. We have crossed the threshold of the equinox. We are now in the light half of the year. Um, that being said, there are lots of heavy transits taking place at the moment. Um, Mercury is in retrograde again. It happens 3 times a year. Um, and that means you just gotta move in silence, dot the I's, cross the T's, read all contracts thoroughly, plan for delays and communication mishaps, electrical issues, that kind of thing. Um, Venus is also in retrograde, which means past relationship stuff could bubble to the surface. Um, but the big transit we have coming up is Neptune. Neptune is about to enter Aries from Pisces, which means humanity will have a chance to wake up. Piscean energy is 4 a.m. 4 a.m. to 6 a.m., and Aries is 6 a.m. to 8 a.m., which means Pisces is naturally ruled by Neptune, and Neptune is the planet of dreams, delusions, drugs, um, and the planet of artists. I have a um, I have Neptune in my first house, um, so it rules heavily in my chart, and I don't mind anyone knowing that about me. I take it to heart. But Neptune isn't without its flaws. It can be a difficult planet to uh, be entangled with. It having been in Pisces these past 12 years, um, it reminds me of being in a dream. Um, a and so escapism has been on the rise these past 12 years. We've seen all kinds of psyops and deluded ways of approaching life crop up, where the trauma of facing reality is so great that people want to escape. And the sorcerers in control of government, they understand this, and they are preying on this transit. So it is about to enter Aries, which could offer us the opportunity to snap out of it, because Aries is that 6 a.m. wake up, get going kind of energy, and it's what we need to snap out of our delusions and illusions, but it also has the potential to spark conflict, because it might mean that people are going to start acting on their delusions in a more meaningful way. The last time that Neptune was in Aries was 1860, the start of the American Civil War, where both sides of a conflict were so deluded with what they were doing that they went to war with each other. And I don't want to get into a huge rant about the Civil War, but there was fault on both sides. Yeah, slavery is horrible and awful, but so is invading a land that isn't your own, and marching armies through it, and ransacking and pillaging and all of that, and drafting a whole army and creating a fascist conglomerate that became the union that we know as the federal government today. And that isn't to make light of slavery in any way, shape, or form either. Anyways, back to astrology. Saturn is going to enter Aries as well at the end of May, and this also has the potential for aggression when it comes to the state, because Saturn, the dark side of Saturn is what the rulers of the world, the the sorcerers in control, that's what they worship, and that can be seen in all of the Abrahamic religions, particularly. They all have Saturn symbolism in them, but so there's the potential there for the state to become more aggressive at the end of May, and the Saturn transit lasts 2.5, 3 years, something like that, and yeah. But this Neptune transit, particularly because the flag of Ukraine, the crest of Ukraine, is a trident. It's a stylized trident. I have my theory that it might actually be a B, but colloquially it is known as the trident of Azov, the Sea of Azov. And as such, it is a symbol of Neptune. And that means that we have to be extra vigilant about deception in war. There's the Sun Tzu quote, all war is based on deception. Because if you can provoke your enemy to attack you first, you can garner the support of your allies to go to war with you. The history of warfare is fraught with this kind of behavior. The sinking of the Lusitania, the burning of the Reichstag, 9/11. All of these are what are known as false flag attacks. There's also the potential for a sort of fog of war situation where there's so much confusion, nobody knows who the good guys are, who the bad guys are, And that is sort of what we are seeing on the world stage taking place, where it's just this world is... See, there aren't really good guys or bad guys anymore, because evil fights evil more than it fights good. And I mean, it's been a very, very long time since this world has seen such a thing as a righteous war, where there is a clear good guy and a clear bad guy. It's possible, but most of the time it's evil fighting evil, and that's a shame. Um, Neptune, fog of war. Oh, it being that we have crossed the threshold into Aries season, we are now in the dark occult 40-day season of sacrifice, which, for those of you who are unaware, I highly recommend you look into the work of Mark Passio of What on Earth is Happening. You can also look at one of my past videos called Courage in the Face of Ritual Terror, where I do a succinct summation of it. But for those of you who don't know, this is the time period where dark deeds are done as a ritual offering to the dark gods, the dark force of entropy, to instigate greater acts of horror. It is historically the time of great bloodshed, the start of wars, lots of false flag attacks. So particularly with Neptune entering Aries, we have to be extra vigilant. And as the saying goes, beware the Ides of March. All right, everyone, take care. We'll get through it. I forgot to mention, there's also an eclipse about to take place in Aries on the 29th, which, and there was an eclipse, lunar eclipse in Virgo a couple weeks back. So we have been in what is known as eclipse season, where things are emotionally, they tend to get heavier. There's also the potential for one's shadow side to really come to the fore. So, given the other transits that are happening, stay on guard. All right, everyone, take care.